Here we are back again, folks, for the exciting action of the third period of this 1-1 game. Linesman Bob Cook about ready to drop the puck. At the end of the second period, we learned that Jeff Bassett has been assessed a 2-minute minor, so the Huskies will be on a power play for the first 2 minutes of the third period. Truscott wins the draw. Back to Murphy on the point. And the Big Reds clear it the length of the rink, where Matt Warren goes back to pick it up. The Huskies have 4 forwards out there, as it appears that Brian Murphy's playing the point. Back to Matt Warren, slap shot, sticked aside by Kewen. Make that clank. Matt Warren over to Brian Murphy. Breaking around the right wing, those long strides, breaks right in on net. His shot is deflected wide, and the net is off the moorings. And with 1:09 left in the power play, the score remains 1-1.
Yeah, Klink has been a stalwart in goal for Port Huron High School, Don. And it kind of especially showed in the second period there when Northern outshot the Big Reds 11-6 to even up the shots in the game for 17 apiece.
Still going with 4 forwards on this power play as Murphy moves up to take the draw, wins it. Back to Truscott on the point. Truscott's high shot just over the net. Murphy, slap shot, hits the outside of the net, kicks wide. Thomas, stopped at the blue line by Warren. Back to Murphy. Cross ice pass to Truscott. Goes wide and cleared into the neutral zone by the Big Reds. With 40 seconds remaining in the penalty. Matt Warren steams out of his own zone. Top of the face-off circle. Looking for his man as he goes behind the net. Centering pass to Rolling. Now Truscott along the wing. Pass out to the point, where Warren gets it over to Murphy. Over to Truscott. Hinton out front of the net. Can't quite get the wood on it. And cleared the length of the rink by Mike Bassett as the penalty expires. 13 minutes remaining in the game. Score still tied as Brian Murphy, still out from the opening faceoff, makes a dash. Now down the right wing. Cut off nicely by Jeff Roberts. Jeff Bassett, now Jeff Roberts again. Clears it into the center ice zone, where Lozier picks it up. Having trouble with it. Gets rid of the puck over to Diamond. Diamond tripped up at the blue line, and the Huskies are going to be back going on the power play again.
Well, Don, that was more of an accident than a penalty, but they all have to be called. Well, being overshadowed by the arena announcer here tonight. Let's not take away from the real battle that's on the ice down here, Don.
I know the fans are buzzing in the arena already in excitement over the upcoming game between the Saints and the Vikings. We have a timeout call, probably by the Big Reds, in an attempt to save the legs to fight off this power play early on in the third period.
Yeah, not a very good way to start out the third period, down. For the first 2 minutes, you're a man short, and Northern spent pretty near the whole 2 minutes in the Port Huron end, and now we go and get another Port Huron high penalty. So we're going to play, out of the first 5 minutes of this period, we're going to play 4 minutes of it shorthanded.
Big Reds will have a big task here to keep the Huskies off the scoreboard.
Well, Brian Murphy's starting to roll for Northern here, and Shane Ward and Matt Warren, that combination right there seems to really the last couple of games be the real spark for Northern. And I think if anybody's going to break it open, it's going to be one of those three players, Don.
You've got it. If the Big Reds can stop them, they'll be in this game all the way. 12:19 remaining in the third period. As the Huskies enjoy a 2-minute power play. Murphy, Hinton, Truscott, the forward line out there with Matt Warren. And again, they're going with 4 defensemen as Rob Rolling, the other forward out there. Truscott lined up on the left point. Get tongue-tied here sometimes with Truscott and Truskowski. Back to Truscott. Over to the weak side where Mike Bassett picks it up, flips it out to the point, stopped nicely by Warren. Murphy, high slot slap shot. He doesn't get the wood on that one. Truscott takes the slap shot way wide. Back out to Warren. Over to Murphy. Checked and taken out of the play by Bassett. Now the Huskies come back up with it as Murphy along the boards back to Warren. Back to Murphy. Now Keith Thomas doesn't quite get a stick on it as it remains in the Big Red zone. That might be a key play right there. But Jeff Bassett comes up with it and coolly sends it the length of the rink. With 1:05 remaining in the power play, Don Truscott looking for the opening man, but there was a line change going. He didn't see it coming. Jeff Bassett. Here comes Murphy. Bassett takes him out of the play nicely. Mike Bassett. Wrist shot by Miller doesn't get through. Shane Ward slap shot on goal. Rebound as Miller gets taken out of the play.
Kind of looked like one of them Stan Makita dives, Don. He had a little help, but I think that he could have stayed up there and kept in the play.
Here's a goal mall scramble and a goal. That one came like a shot of lightning. I believe it was Shane Ward batting in the puck from close range. And with 10:35 remaining in the third period, the Huskies take a 2-1 lead.
Don, I believe they may be going to wave the goal off. Steve Emery signaled no goal.
You're right. The fans on this side don't seem to be agreeing with that call, but the call's been made and the score remains 1-1. As Joel Heinbeck back to the point to Zito. Slap shot on goal. Rebound, backhand by Goldfarb. Saved nicely by Klink and cleared out of harm's way as the teams now go back to full strength. Zito's slap shot deflected it back out in front of the net. Wrist shot by Goldfarb, saved by Klink again as the Big Reds clear at the length of the rink. Icing call with 10:07 remaining in the game.
Well, big toe save by Derek Klink there, Don, and that followed that like controversial as far as the Northern fan goes, disallowed goal. But as most hockey people will know that, yes, that player can be in the crease, but he must vacate the crease as the puck goes in the net.
Dignitary Marty Bodice making his way through the press box here.
How you doing, guys?
Yeah, he's seen a lot of time in the box.
And
Not the announcer's box either, Don.
you mean he made the odd trip to the penalty box?
Yeah, he knows both sides of the rink.
In all truthfulness, he still holds some scoring records in the Port Huron Hockey Association.
Well, Don, I'll tell you, a few years ago, or several years ago, I watched him play, and I'll tell you what, a very fine hockey player.
A complete player, that's for sure. Joel Heinbeck does not clear the zone as the dangerous Truscott comes in with a backhander, deflected wide. Klink was going down. High backhander could have beaten him there. Big Reds clear at the length of the rink. 9:16 remaining in the game. Tied at 1.
Well, Don, I think personally, if Northern's going to come out and win this game, they're going to have to get somebody like Truscott or Rolling to put the puck in the net. And so far in this game, the only ones that have been really having the chances are Ward and Murphy. But these other guys have got to get going.
That's what it'll take.
And they're capable.
As Rob Rolling prepares to take the draw with Jason Rombolski. Slap shot from the point. The puck's loose out in front. Here's a shot by Truscott. Helicoptered over the net. A great scoring chance. I'm not sure if the puck was on end or was tipped, but it went way over the net.
Well, Don, if that had been last Friday night, that would have been a three-pointer out the Big Red's gym.
That's right. Evidently, he just flipped it high and wide because of face-off coming out over the blue line. 9:09 remaining in the third period and final period.
Yeah, he really went upstairs on that one.
Truscott and Rombolski. Jason Newberry on the right wing. Shot into the Big Red zone. I don't think they have a shot on goal this period after fighting 2 penalties. Jeff Roberts takes a look. Clears it out to the point. Back towards the goal. Back to the blue line. Slap shot from the point. Fast glove by Klink.
Well, Don, what do you think of this Derek Klink for first year high school hockey?
Well, he's playing like a veteran today, that's for sure. He got a baptism earlier in the season when the Huskies marched to a 11-0 victory. They scored on him early, usually on the second and third chances, but he's coming in strong today.
Yes, and it's a big difference playing in front of a crowd than playing in a minor hockey game where you get family and friends. So a lot of pressures on that young fella.
Scott Truskowski takes a look. Puck deflected by Shane Ward. Now here comes Pionk. Tapped away by Ward. Matt Zito behind the net. Out to Ward. Looking for Murphy. Doesn't quite get to him and dump back into the Husky zone. Where Lozier. Now Truskowski fighting with Ward in the corner for it. Jeff Bassett clears it into the offensive zone. Oh. Pionk out in front where Zito clears it out of harm's way. Shane Ward clears the zone, flips it towards the Big Red goal where Klink plays it to Mike Bassett as the Huskies go for a line change, enabling the Big Reds to get a break here as Pionk looking for the drop pass to Thomas, cut off at the blue line by Bassett, Matt Warren, and Pionk. Doing a little conversing with each other. As the game starts to get a bit chippy out there.
Well, Don, I haven't seen the crowd quite this excited in a long time. Just a couple of nice heavy checks and a little action behind the play, but
they were hitting everything that was moving there for 30 seconds. Here comes Roberts. Intercepted by Hinton. Now in the left wing, Kevin Hinton pulls up. Takes a shot from Bassett. But here's a man in front of the net. Shot saved by Klink as Rolling from close range came within an eyelash of giving the Huskies a lead.
Well, isn't it a much better game when the fans are supportive, Don? All of a sudden the game just seemed to come alive with the fans.
Huskies are going to go back on the power play as Mike Bassett's little hit just after the whistle has resulted in a roughing penalty.
Well, that's a nickel dime call there, Don, I'll tell you. I question that one.
Some referees don't like any kind of hits after the whistle, and that's what you had there. Normally that won't get called, but this time it was.
Well, we got to give something to the crowd there. The crowd was encouraging the play, and I didn't see anything out of the ordinary in that hit.
Jeff Bassett shoots at the length of the rink, where quickly Kevin Hinton comes back out. Over to Truscott. Truscott, top of the face-off circle. High drive. And he scores! Wasn't sure if Klink had handled that or not, but evidently just trickled into the net. And now the Huskies have taken a 2-1 lead.
Well, a questionable penalty leads to a Northern goal. And it was a pretty good goal. Nice hard slap shot from the corner. The goaltender handled it, but he kind of failed to hang on to it, and it did end up in the net.
.549 remaining in the third period. The Huskies lead 2-1.
Well, let's see if Port Huron High can regroup here, Don.
Aaron Goldfarb on the draw, back to Reynolds. Centering pass by the Big Reds, nobody there. And we have a delayed offside with 5:29 remaining in the third period. Huskies 2, Big Reds 1.
Well, Don, the off-ice officials are in force here tonight. We're hearing a lot of chatter over the last call in the game here and the action in the game, which has been a real intense third period.
Jeff Roberts flips it into the Husky zone, where Brett Nixon fighting with Josh Gardner. Back into the corner, it's Gardner and Nixon again. Here comes Brian Murphy. Shane Ward, the headman. Offside as they couldn't quite handle the puck, and Ward skated in about a foot offside.
Well, good tenacious checking by the Port Huron High School there to keep Northern from opening a wider lead than what they have. And with this last 5 minutes, should be a very interesting 5 minutes, Don.
It'll be interesting to see if the Reds can muster up some offense here and make an effort to tie this. Pionk into the Husky zone where Brett Nixon comes up with it. Over to the far side to Kevin Hinton. Here comes Jeff Bassett, the dangerous Bassett. His shot wide on the inside. Keith Thomas, centering pass to Pionk as Roberts breaks to the net. Back to the point, Heinbeck. Gloved ahead by Hinton. And a whistle stops play with 4:25 remaining in the game.
Well, Don, a little questionable call there. The Port Huron High player did knock it down with a stick, but his stick wasn't up to his shoulders. It was just up to his elbows.
Goldfarb on the faceoff to Lozier. Truskowski gets it out of harm's way and brought in offside by Zito with 4:15 remaining in the third period. Bassett takes a hit from his own teammate, Gardner. Delayed offside call as the Big Reds go back as the Huskies make a line change. Left wing weak side pass to Bassett. Goes around a couple players, around another one. Dumps it into the Husky zone. Gardner doesn't come up with the puck. Wow. As Rumbalski possibly got away with the trip there.
You think they were trying to even that up on that one down with a no call?
Shane Ward in the corner. And the pass deflected out over the blue line with 3:05 remaining in the third period as the swift skating Phil Lozier gets the puck over into the zone. Picked up by Shane Ward. Now the Big Reds come back with it. Clear the zone to Matt Zito. Zito slaps it into the Big Red zone offside.
Well, Don, there was Northern's big chance to take advantage of Port Huron High School. Port Huron High, that line there was really, I thought, in trouble there and just doing everything they possibly could just to get rid of the puck, and Northern just didn't take advantage to go in the score.
Big Reds come back with Thomas, Jeff Bassett, and Pyock. Keep in mind, they've already called their timeout this period, and that being the case, I doubt if the Huskies will call one to give that first line of the Big Reds a chance to rest. Centering pass picked up by Thomas. Thomas, weak side pass to Jeff Bassett, goes just ahead of him. Back to Keith Thomas. Jeff Roberts takes a dash down the wing. Offside as the referee takes the puck. .208 remaining in the game. As Rob Rolling winds up behind his own net, takes a look around his first man, clears the zone. Back into the zone it goes with Matt Warren. He clears the zone. Back in it goes, back to Warren. Warren over to the weak side to Jeff Bassett. Here comes Jeff Bassett. Wrist shot, high and wide. In front of the net, goalmouth scramble. Keith Thomas couldn't get a stick on it. 1:33 remains in the third period. The Huskies 2, the Big Reds 1.
Well, Don, other than that chance on goal right there, I thought Port Huron High was playing like they had the lead there. They were just kind of sitting back and maybe waiting for a mistake. And the mistake, if anything, was gonna cost them the game.
Big Red's doing a little stalling here. I don't understand what's happening. All the players are over at the bench.
Well, Don, I hope they don't goof up here because they called the original timeout. They called again. They could end up with a 2-minute penalty for delay of game.
They just got about a 30-second timeout there. 1:33 remaining in the game. Now it appears a timeout has been called. The Huskies have taken a timeout with 51 or slightly over a minute left in the third period.
Well, who said there was a 100% rivalry in this game, Don? Northern just gave Port Huron High a gift there with that timeout that Port Huron High so urgently needed.
That's the way I see it. So I would suspect the Big Reds will finish the game with their big line out there and pull the goalie in the next opportunity, if not on the next faceoff, which I believe will be in the Huskies zone.
Well, they've got one line that could do it. You got your Bassett back in defense, who's always a threat to score, and his younger brother who plays up front, which is just a recent acquisition this year, who could have a chance.
Minute 33 remains. Huskies trying to hang on to the victory. The Big Reds trying to come up with a strategy that can get them a tie game here. Big Jason Rombolski coming out with Jeff Bassett as the goalie is pulled.
Well, let's see if Keith Thomas can win this draw, because I think he's kind of maybe the key on this one right here, Don.
They have the big line out there with Rombolski, who will probably be stationed in front of the net. Bassett and Roberts on the point. The Huskies win the draw. Matt Warren behind the net. Or Truscott and Bassett. Bassett comes up with it in the corner as brother Jeff Bassett covers him at the point. Now Matt Warren intercepted by Thomas. Oh, and his wrist shot almost got through, and in fact did get through, and caught by Kuhn. Minute 15 remaining in the game.
Well, Danny Kuhn made a nice save, even though he did jumble a little bit. Portland High worked it around, and he got his blocker and his glove up and caught it and stopped the play.
1:15, that's the time remaining. Keith Thomas and Murphy again on the faceoff. Thomas wins this one, back to the point. Oh, and here we have a breakaway. Breakaway by Truscott. Wrist shot, he scores! Into the empty net. And the Huskies have seemingly sealed this victory. A tough break by the Big Reds as they tried to pass over to the weak side point man, but Truscott, in great anticipation, picked it off and scored the breakaway goal into the empty net.
Well, we had mentioned earlier that Truscott had to get going. It probably wasn't one of the harder goals he's ever had to score, but nonetheless, it's the one that kind of puts this in the win column for Portland Northern.
That was a keeper. When you go from a 1-goal lead to a 2-goal lead late in the game, that's when you draw a little sigh of relief. Goldfarb wins the draw. Back to Warren. Warren up to Hinton. Shane Ward back to Hinton. As we enter the final minute of play, Rombolski, snapshot goes wide. Here comes Hinton with Warren on his wing. Hinton dumps it back in. Truskowski doesn't clear the zone. Now Newberry does clear the zone as Rombolski catches a man with his head down. Truskowski. Truskowski and Ward at it again.